It's Tuesday afternoon, and you know what that means. It's time for Randomity with the Random Christian Show. Brought to you by Neil Getzlow's book, Unmasked, Conquering Sexual Sin, Walking in Victory. Order your copy now at neilgetzlow.com. Use the code RANDOM for a 10% discount. Also sponsored by music, podcast, and video game producer Squid's Killin' It Productions. Find them on Instagram at Squids Space Killin' It and on Facebook at Squids Killin' It Gaming. Proudly brought to you by the SJ Network, bringing professional representation to artists, authors, and creators on all levels. Contact them at s-j-network.com. Also brought to you by Consolidated Skateboards, quality skateboarding decks and products, as well as shoes, shirts, and blankets on the web at consolidatedskateboards.com. Intro music provided by The Dead Campers. Their latest album, Savage, is out now. Also, their Christmas music is out. Check them out at deadcampers.com. That's campers with a K. Today, Kristian welcomes comedy writer, songwriter, and actor Bruce Vilanch. If there was a joke on TV that you laughed at, I'm pretty sure Bruce wrote it. Plus, random questions of insanity. With us, as always, is that little voice in my ear, Matt E., and my name is Andy. Now, here's your host. He's so random, I don't even know what to say about it. He never wears matching socks. Here he is, Kristian Random.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the world of randomity, where we make everything up as we go along and then act like it's actually been planned. Yes, that's right. It is I, Kristian Random. It is a Thursday edition, and I want to thank everyone and everybody out there, especially our sponsors. Again, Neil Getzlow. Make sure you check out his book, Unmasked. It is out there and available for you. Amazing book. And our new sponsor, Squids Killin' It. Yes, Squids Killin' It Productions. There's so much that production company does. We don't have time to list. But make sure you check them out on their website. Thank you so much for being here with us. And very excited, so excited to have Bruce Vilanch on. This is going to be an amazing show, kids. So make sure you grab your hats and grab on tight, because we are going to be going at it and having some fun. As always, again, you heard the man, the voice, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andrew Drake.
Hello. What's
How you
happening?
doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm feeling kind of sexy and cool. It's been one of those days.
Oh, really?
No, my hips actually really
do you need
been
some
hurting
time
me.
to yourself?
No, that's
It is
kinda-
Thursday. I don't know what you normally do on Thursday at 4 p.m. Central. So we could be infringing on some personal time. I don't know.
especially my personal time in the booth. This is when we practice the Random Christian Show after dark.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, I just want to say these new logos are amazing, buddy. Right
Thanks,
by your
man.
head there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. No, you can put it over my head. I wear it proudly as a stamp on my forehead.
Well, here, let's do this then.
There you go.
Look.
That's the new logo. What do you guys think?
How cool is that? I think it's freaking awesome, dude.
I think it came out great as well. I'm very stoked.
Except this.
Well, hey. Well, see, it works. I'm pretty good now. I don't know.
You know, nobody who oops, wrong one. Nobody who's listening to this has any idea what we're doing, but we're showing the new logo, and for some reason it went split screen, and it's like having a third eye.
We would know what other people were saying if you did something.
Oh, if I enabled the chat, maybe.
Maybe.
And let's go to the chitty chat time. There it is. Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go.
And
yeah, see, now I'm gone. That's okay. They don't need to see me. They really don't. I'm more proud of the logo than I am of my face. So that's
the professionalism of this show is absolutely amazing. Now, well, geez, look at the background. Should we go with the white background?
I don't know. The black background is a little more mysterious. A little more.
We'll go mysterious.
Yeah, we'll go mysterious. I don't know.
Bruce on that.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. New comments will display. So yes, if you're out there, and I see you out there, everybody
Oh, there are
that's
people
listening.
watching. Are there actual people
Uh,
watching today?
yeah, there's a few people out there watching.
All
So
right.
there's the chat over here right next to Andy. You can join in the chat with us. Speaking of chatting, because my ear is starting to burn a little. There's Matthew.
Should probably get that checked out, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right?
if your ear burns, you gotta see a doctor right away.
It's not.
Man.
No, it's
It's
not a
COVID.
good. It's not a
it's,
good sign. It's
I got ear
It's
COVID.
probably worse than COVID.
yeah.
No, I
Does
took
it
care of
burn
that
when
I
you
was in San
hear?
Luis Obispo.
Is that the Iracron variant now?
Ah, dude, nice. Well played. Well played. Yes, it was
Good odds.
the Ericron. Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm okay.
You got a little rain.
My
rain
ears don't burn.
Not yet.
No, they don't.
They will.
Do you
when I
moisturize?
Snap you.
But my hand is it's healing.
Whoa.
Ooh, take time with the wounded hand. What happened?
I have a kitten.
Oh. Ooh,
Oh
yes.
man, yeah.
Yes.
They are a blast. And I brought them up because I have to say, last night as we were getting ready for bed, I had on Wes Anderson's The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The little stop motion little thing.
Yeah.
I believe it's a Roald Dahl story. Both the kittens were on the edge of the bed just watching like intently. They loved it. Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's great.
So, like,
Are you already giving your cats CBD pills?
No, nothing at all like that. They just I think they might like Wes Anderson because I was watching Royal Tenenbaums the other night and the boy kitty was up on the bed watching. So I mean, he's got good taste in film.
I would love to test this theory further. I think you need to Wes Anderson it the rest of the week and see if the cats are just as interested.
How do we always end up talking about your cats?
I got nothing else going on. I'm making bread right now in a bread machine.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Are the cats involved with the bread?
We made fresh homemade onion rings, zucchini sticks, and beer battered cod.
Well, this sucks. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, so it's either food or
Cooking with Matt.
So.
Gonna start a new show.
The Cooking with Matt podcast.
Show with
if you
Matthew.
followed me on Maddie's photos on Instagram, I believe there are pictures of that dinner.
Right. Yeah. Your Thanksgiving. I'm still salivating over your Thanksgiving leftover pictures. Those were fantastic.
Dude. And then the cod you were making the other day or something.
Yeah, the fish tacos turned out so good.
Yeah, see, that's
so good.
No. I
Are you not a fish taco guy, Kristian?
No.
Really?
Well, I mean, all it is
if
I mean beer battered cod,
symbolism for other things, then I am, but no.
Corn tortilla to hold it, some tartar sauce, and we use paste picante if they ever want to
you ain't got to get fancy with
and
with the salsa
some shredded cabbage.
That's
on there. That's it. I mean, that's it, and it is so good. Oh my god!
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
It was great.
Nope, chicken was made for tacos.
Okay. Do you like seafood in general?
No.
Oh yeah, I love
no
seafood.
Chicken for tacos.
Okay.
Actually, I think shark tacos would be all right. I could see shark meat in there.
Shark tacos are good.
Yeah, but
I could go for any.
Good.
I could go for any sort of seafood in a tortilla, and I would be fine. My normal to go to is a shrimp burrito.
Oh, yum!
Yeah, I love a good shrimp burrito.
Yeah.
There are so many jokes I could start going with right now.
Well, I'd like to hear one. Clearly, you come on. Give me your best shrimp burrito joke.
Appropriate. It's not funny.
Oh, sure. You got nothing.
I got your shrimp burrito. It's about this big.
That's your shrimp burrito.
It doesn't matter how big your shrimp burrito is. It just matters how it tastes.
All right.
Damn it. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And this is why I talk about my cats.
And this is why we're talking about Matt's cats. You're right. Okay. The new the new movie that just came out a little while ago. Have you guys done Hawkeye yet on your show?
Not yet. Not yet. We were on the fence until the last few episodes, and then now it's coming through. Now we're all into it.
Yeah, because I was I got I've been hearing not so great things about it. Kind of
yeah, but it stepped up the last 2 episodes. There was a relatively decent cameo at the end of the 4th episode, and then the 5th episode really brought it in. So now it has interconnected a little more, as Marvel tends to do some other properties, and is going really well. Hey, Corey Hall, congratulations for saying the I do's, man.
Yeah, Corey, well done, sir. And I think he's still on his honeymoon.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised.
Corey, why are you watching this?
Yeah, the wife is letting him watch.
Oh God! Wait, are we involved in the honeymoon?
Turn us off, Corey.
Yeah,
things are getting sexy. All right.
Now
baby.
I am I'm learning Spanish on Duolingo, and hola, amigos is not a thing.
Honeymoon's over. Well,
yeah,
there we go.
Sorry, Corey.
Thanks for killing the mood, Matt.
Yeah,
he was having a great time, and then you had to bring up Duolingo.
Yeah,
so. Lingo. I learned how to say it.
Oh, now it's lingo. Okay, we're going with the abridged American version. I got it. All right.
Corey, I barely speak English. Me good
Matt
talk.
Barely speaks.
Me good talk.
Very talk well, Matt.
Me good talk good.
All right. Well, Corey, thank you so much. And again, you can see as Corey has very well enabled the chat. The rest of y'all that are out there watching, make sure you join in with us and throw your questions and comments in. So I just want to say thank you all so much. Again, we have made the not only top 100 but top 20 for 3rd or 4th week in a row for comedy interviews. So Thank you all out there so much for doing that. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, rate, and just pass us around. We're slutty that way, and we got no problem with it. Well, Matt might, because he's got wounds on his hands. So Matt likes to fly solo.
You know what? As long as there's no hey baby, too irritating thing. I mean, like no lemon juice.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah,
no citrus.
Okay. And now my wife was like, "Oh, here we go." Yeah. Sorry, dear. It's all in good comedy, love. It's all in good comedy.
Well, it's all in some sort of comedy.
Okay. It's all in it's a random way of trying to be funny, and it really works. So
yeah.
All right. So listen, Matt, I love you, brother, but you know what? You're a director extraordinaire, producer genius, and we're gonna say peace to Matt. And now it's just me and Andy. And Andy?
Well, it shouldn't be just us, though. I think we need someone. We should bring someone else in here.
We need a big square here because we need a big X.
Yeah.
In the square, which would mean
that is a good. Who do we call on? Oh my goodness!
It is none other than Mr. Bruce Vilanch. Bruce Vilanch, welcome to the show.
Hello, Vilanch. Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you started everything out before. I'm glad all the cat news was put forth. What the cats are watching, because Nielsen overlooks that kitten demographic all the time.
No, really, they do. It is completely missed
really.
out. Yeah.
I mean, Cats would have been a big movie if they had just, all the cats who went to see it had been counted, but no.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah.
They dogged that one.
Yeah.
I'm having a Stephen King Christmas here.
Oh, that's great.
I was noticing that shirt.
Yeah.
If I can
they're all
yeah. Can't enlarge you. That's
geez.
I know. I beg your pardon. You could enlarge me if you bought me a bottle of wine. Really, well, it's Dolores Claiborne over there.
Oh, I have
And
several.
Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I think it's
Yeah.
Stephen King in the middle. And then Carrie and the clown Pennywise.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
And they're all just having what looks like either it's a pizza or a Ouija board. I can't figure out which.
Yeah.
Either way, Pennywise looks very sad.
Yeah.
Well, he's eyeing Dolores Claiborne, who's having none of him.
Right.
Who's just thinking another accident can be a woman's best friend.
I'll buy you a beer, I promise.
That's it.
But hey, it's pepperoni on a pizza or sausage, however you want to roll. Hey, so Mr. Bruce, how are you, sir? Thank you so much.
I'm moderate to heavy, like everybody else. I'm my favorite drag queen, Delta Variant, has left town. There's a new bitch in town, but so Delta was a super spreader. I liked having her around, but
right.
Everybody. I mean, we're living in this kind of weird netherworld where things are back, but then they go away again. It's strange. It's kind of like marriage, I guess, where you're lucky one night, the next night you're in the dog houses. There are still dog houses.
Well, there is, except they're all outside with their own screens and
AC and AC and streaming, smart televisions and stuff, so the cats can come over and watch too.
Yes. Well, what's a dog without a pussy around? That's all.
Hey, thank you. I wasn't going to say that, but hey, I knew somebody else would.
I'm sorry. I'm stealing all the punchlines. I apologize, sir.
You're perfect. It's fine.
Hey, some of the best punchlines are stolen punchlines, though, aren't they?
I would think. Well, back in the day, Milton Berle was a great big star, and he was known as the thief of bad gags.
Oh yeah,
which was a play off The Thief of Baghdad. This was a great big romantic movie. The Thief of Bad Gags, because he allegedly stole from everybody. I don't know. I knew him slightly, and he never. I never saw him lift anything, but he was very funny and very smart. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing. People see things and they take, they lift, they incorporate. But that's, I think, what we're learning is how the world has always operated in every area.
Yeah.
As long as it's done in good fun and credits given where credits due, then I see no problem with it.
Well, and it was easier to steal back then than it is now because everybody has a recording device and you can timestamp anything now. Yeah. So it's, I don't know how we got into comedy thievery, but it's, yeah.
How did we get out before I'm canceled?
Right. It was wonderful having you today, Bruce. This was so great, man. Thank you so much.
But the woke crowd has stepped up.
That's right. They woke up.
Everything.
The woke wolves woke up.
All right. So now, Bruce, I mean, we did research, a whole bunch of research on you. Well, we tried to, but you have such a deep history. I mean, dude, let's just start at the beginning. Where did you actually start with all your comedy writing and comedy and all this? I mean,
excuse me. I was a child actor. I was never a child star, or we'd all be having this conversation in rehab. I didn't make it, but I didn't. So I was just always drawn to show business, and I began writing about it because as I got older, I was not getting cast because I was too young for the parts I was up for, because I was heavy, I had a deep voice, and I looked 40, and I was 12, so I wasn't getting cast. Genuine 40-year-olds were getting cast, so I started writing about that. And my parents encouraged me because they as much fun as they had with my career, they thought you have something to fall back on. Oh, be a journalist. Newspapers will always be around. So I went to Ohio State, and I majored in theater and journalism, and it was a 5-year program. And when I got out, I got a job at the Chicago Tribune. And I was writing about show business and interviewing stars coming in and all that, and reviewing things. I met Bette Midler, who was just starting out. She was on Broadway in Fiddler on the Roof, playing one of the daughters, getting married every night. And on her vacation, she came and did this act that she'd been doing at a club at the Improv to Chicago. And her manager was a guy I knew and said, "Would you review her if you because we need the press." So I thought she was incredible, and I reviewed her, and I interviewed her actually. And she said, "That's a very funny interview. You're a funny writer." And I said, "Well, you're funny. You should talk more on stage." And she said, "You got any lines?" And that was the beginning. And that was only 50 years ago. Excuse me, it's time for my heart medication.
Right.
and we just kind of kept up. And as more people came through town, they said, "Oh, you're the guy who writes for Bette Midler." And then I started writing for them. So I had a whole roster of people. And after 5 years, the Chicago Tribune said, "You can't be on the road all the time. You live here."
No, I don't.
One of the acts that Bette had started, a singing group called the Manhattan Transfer, got a summer television series, and I came out here to write it, and I Bette says, "Your bags were packed the day I met you." And I never looked back. And I was by that point I was writing for all these different comics, and there was a lot of variety television back then, and cable kind of killed all that. And cable and SNL killed all of that because you couldn't do on network TV what SNL was doing late at night.
Right.
And if you were at all edgy, you went to HBO or Showtime because you could do whatever you wanted, and you didn't have to worry that the representative of Kraft Cheese, who was sponsoring the show, would come over to you and say, "I'm terribly sorry, but you have to zip up. You're showing too much cleavage."
Right.
Okay. Well, now let me ask you this, Bruce. Okay, now you're talking about having the variety shows and how they ended up kind of canceling out. Is that just because either comedy evolved or just television just kind of decided, listen, the variety shows are too family goody shoo, and we don't want to push that anymore. We want to push more. We're trying to be edgy, but without. I mean, do you think there was?
No, I think that partially, everything you say is correct. I think that, as I said, there were more. SNL was a more freewheeling show, and the audience that they were going for would not put up with the kind of squarer stuff that was being done on the regular shows.
Right.
In addition, there's an opinion I want to hear. That's a target market.
Yeah.
So much.
Well, let's all go to
the other thing that was happening was that they weren't developing the kind of talents that used to front those shows.
Right.
That was no longer required. I mean, you could be Madonna, you could be the biggest star in the world and never speak. You would, but you'd say 3 lines. I mean, why would anybody want to have to host a television show every week that was very old school. And all those people found other things they wanted to do. So it was a combination of all of that, I think. I don't think that the networks made any conscious decision to do it. I think it was the kind of thing that evolved, that it was being taken care of by cable.
Right. Because, I mean, you saw, the variety shows were in a way a bunch of little mini shows, obviously. And I mean, you look at shows like Carol Burnett, the Brady Bunch Hour,
right.
Donnie and Marie, things like that. They all had their own little comedy bits and stuff like that. And I mean, they were so cool and so great about that. But then like shows kind of seem to develop from those in a way, and I mean,
the other thing is, and this is like kind of the boring part of show business economics, is that the people who were producing those shows and selling them to the networks were deficit financing them. They couldn't make the money back on the commercials they sold on the shows that would equal the cost of putting those shows out.
Right.
And so they depend on reruns and syndication.
Yes.
And those kinds of shows don't rerun well. They don't syndicate.
Right.
The same thing about Dallas and Dynasty and Knots Landing, which were all primetime soaps. They don't have a shelf life.
It's because
what has a shelf life are sitcoms and action shows that have a beginning, a middle, and an end in each episode. Right. I mean, that's Law and Order. They don't depend on a overwhelming story arc. And so the people who made the shows, the studios who produced those shows, lost interest in them because the money wasn't there. They could never get their money out. But if you come up with a Big Bang Theory, you never have to work again, obviously.
Right.
And that's for the studio too. I mean, anything that Warner Brothers may lose on any number of the turds they've released during COVID, they'll make up with on Big Bang. It pays for a lot of Christopher Nolan pictures that nobody goes.
That's right.
Okay, so and I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, but I was very curious on your take on that because and it's so true. And you see how you said basically cable and shows like SNL basically destroyed it because SNL was kind of like the FM to the AM of TV.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
They were the late night edgy. Yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna tackle this, and then daytime was just like, oh no, we want to be safe, and oh my gosh, and then it became a bunch of daytime talk shows and.
Well, at the time, also you have to remember the prime time. There were only 3 networks, and so you really couldn't stay on the air if you attracted less than a third of the audience.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and
so as compared to Saturday night at 11:30, where you had to attract a very small audience at all to make money because the commercials were cheaper to sell.
Right.
So
right. Well, and you're not going against the Tonight Show, or you're not going against those talk shows. You really have a captive audience, and at that time, SNL, that was the golden age. Like that cast at that point was, I don't think any other cast has really matched the true talent from that cast there. So it really was sort of the benchmark.
They've had a lot of great people over 40.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, don't get me wrong, but I just think that was sort of the benchmark for the other casts to try to get there, and some have come really close.
I'm glad. I'll tell Lorraine Newman you said so.
Thank you.
I just did it. We were both in a documentary we shot the other night, and she was one of the original Not Ready for Primetime players.
Right.
And she was awesome. She had some great characters.
And they were named the Not Ready for Primetime players because Howard Cosell had a variety show.
Oh, that's right.
And he had his cast were called the Primetime Players. And it was a huge bomb. And so Lauren jumped on it and said, we're going to call you guys the Not Ready for Primetime Players. That was where it came from.
Wow.
I would love to see I don't see any Howard Cosell show tapes on YouTube.
I know, right?
Have to get a plot to find them for me.
Oh God!
You don't even really hear anything about Howard Cosell anymore. He used to always just somehow pop up every now and then.
He'd be dead. That's
but I mean, there's lots of people that are.
As a footnote, Jon Voight was nominated for an Academy Award for playing Howard Cosell in a picture called Ali, where Will Smith played Muhammad.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So he will live forever in the annals of the Academy.
Yeah.
He didn't win. Neither of them won, but
that's right. Okay, and so now as all this progressed, and you watched the evolvement, I guess, or however you want to label the TV. So what did you ended up moving out of TV, and what did you end up doing now?
I never really moved out of TV. I'm always in it, but I kind of was across the board doing everything. I've always acted. What happened is 20 years of writing for people and writing for television shows and secretly working on movie rewrites and all that stuff. They asked me to do Hollywood Squares, to be the head writer on Hollywood Squares in the last iteration. And so I, of course, said yes, because it struck me as being they wanted it to be a comedy show more than it had possible before. And then they got Whoopi to be the center square, and she and I had worked together a lot. And she said, I think that Vilanch should host the show. And they thought she was nuts, but they didn't want to piss her off that early in the game. So they tested me, and it was me going, "This is for the win, Louise," and using my deepest voice. And they said, "Well, you're not exactly mainstream." And I said, "No shit, sure." What was your second clue?
Where did you get that?
Right.
Well, Yeah, but they put me in a square. They were hoping I would tame Whoopi.
Oh God!
And of course,
wow.
this is impossible to do.
I was going to say
As we always say, I was next to her. We say they didn't. She says they didn't realize that I'm really a Jewish queen and you're really a black woman. Ask anybody who slept with me will tell you.
Right. Yeah.
So that is our relationship, and it continues to stay. But so after that, once you're on television every night, they make you all kinds of offers. I did a book, and then I did Hairspray for 2 years. I shaved, and I became Edna Turnblad, the Baltimore housewife, and I ironed my way across America for a year, and then Broadway for a year. So I got to do all this other stuff and bring the acting back into focus.
Yeah.
And so it's never boring. There's always something happening.
You're just constantly going now, and especially like working Broadway and stuff. I mean, how does that just end up wearing on you after a while? I mean,
I loved it. I mean, I think it pushed an OCD button I didn't know I had. I like going in every night. Let's see how we can make it work tonight.
Right.
But Hairspray is a party. I mean, minute, even if you don't feel like doing it, you get on the minute you hear the audience because they've come to have a good time, and the show is up. And I always said, it's because I think that has something to do with it. If I were like Vanessa Redgrave playing Medea, and I had to kill my children and drag the corpses around the stage 8 times a week, I might not be so lighthearted.
Right. I could tend to
Hairspray kind of demands that you forget all of your shit and you just get out there and entertain people. And so I had, and it was wonderful. The whole Broadway community, it's quite fabulous. I mean, they don't stop on Monday night when everybody's off. They do benefits.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's right.
Now, what was it like trying to fill Divine's shoes?
Well, I had 4 pair. I had Harvey Fierstein's shoes I had to follow because he originated the role, and then I followed him. But I mean, Divine is unique, and it was also a movie. It was a different situation. This was a musical, and you do it all in one night. It's a lot of quick changes, and I just didn't think about it. I just thought it's a great part, and it's such a wonderfully written show that I thought, look, by the time they were seeing me, they'd seen 2 geniuses in the role, so maybe it was time for the idiot cousin to come in.
I thought you were going to like totally boost yourself up there and say, and I showed the geniuses how stupid they were. But
everybody who's done it has been good. They all do it in their own way.
Everybody gives their own take on it.
I mean, we rewrote some of it because Harvey had written a bunch of it for himself, and he talks down here, and so he gets laughed by saying hello. I couldn't do that. That's not me. So it's him and B. Arthur. They're the only ones who speak. It changed, and everybody who's done it has done a little something to make it theirs.
Right now, and we're talking, and there's a couple other things I want to go back to about what you've written, but and I'll just say this because we are huge nerds, and I'm just going to put that disclaimer up here real quick.
Nerd alert!
Yeah, we are huge Star Wars fans. And you wrote the Star Wars Christmas special, sir.
I committed the Star Wars.
So I'm curious, like, how does
you're responsible
the yellow tape around the typewriter that was written?
How does something like this come about? So Star Wars had just come out, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a Christmas special."
Star Wars had come out, I think, in the summer of '77.
Yeah,
right.
And by the fall of '78, George was about to start shooting The Empire. I think he started it in the winter of '79 over in London, and I think that the sales of the action figures were a little slow, and I think the people at Lucasfilm were looking to, at Skywalker Ranch, were looking to boost it up a little. And George told me at the time that he had written 10 Star Wars stories, and he was planning on making 6 movies, which he eventually did. There was like a 30-year hiatus between number 3 and number 4.
Right.
But And then he had 4 other stories, and one was a novel, and one he sold to this and that, and he had one story left, and he sold it to CBS as a television special. And I do believe he thought that they were going to come up with an original musical based on this.
Oh,
story.
really?
But I always question whether that could be real, because why would you want to do an original musical where the leading characters were the Wookiees?
Right.
Who speak no known language.
Yeah.
Forget about singing. They sound like fat people having orgasms.
Or a really wet fart.
Trust me, I know. So I mean, that very good. I never do that. I think I'm gargling, and then
Yeah.
opened up. But he had this story, and CBS bought it, and immediately, of course, turned it into a network television special, which meant guest stars. And that was basically because the Wookiees couldn't really do anything. I mean, they could barely cross the room in those outfits.
I was just saying, those outfits, man, yeah.
Oh man, it's like a walking mountain. So we had to come up with something that honored his story, but at the same time had slots in it for what we loosely called entertainment. And that's how the thing began getting built up. And a whole lot of people who did variety shows came in, and George was fairly appalled by it, but he didn't pull the plug. He cashed a check, and he just went back to Marin, and I think in some kind of shock. And now I have to point out a few things. First of all, when we did the show, it was the 70s. So we were all chemically altered.
Yes.
And I say this a lot, and I read a story the other day that said Vilanch admits to copious cocaine abuse during the thing. It wasn't, I'm joking. It's not, I used to say Carrie Fisher and I snorted the sweet and low, but there was a minimum level of drug usage by everybody of our age in that period.
In that area, yeah.
And that was number one. And so we thought, we were stoned, and we came up with ideas. So that was number one. Number two was we knew that 45 years later we'd be talking about this, we might have paid closer attention. And another thing, and this always pisses off Star Wars people, is that a lot of people didn't think Star Wars was that great. It was a summer picture that somehow hit the zeitgeist.
Right.
This was before it had become the Scientology of the nerds.
Right.
I was going to say,
that didn't even happen. The first 3 movies happened and went away, and then the internet happened. And not before the internet, VHS happened. And a whole generation of kids grew up watching the first 3 pictures on VHS and Betamax. And then the internet happened, and YouTube, and people discovered bootlegs of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which they did not know existed.
Yeah.
Right.
And the hardcore nerds were alarmed and felt betrayed. And they began assaulting George. Death threats. It was unbelievable. And so we tried to, get rid of every copy of it. But the things, it won't go away. Every picture he releases, it comes back up, and I get interview requests. And how did this happen? And he finally caved in and let Lego do their own Star Wars Holiday Special,
right?
So that he could make a second stab at turning Life Day into a real holiday.
Yeah,
and that didn't work. And the only thing that remains of Star Wars, and I think this is amazing, is Boba Fett. Boba Fett was introduced on the show.
Right.
A small animated package, because he couldn't sell a full-length Boba Fett animation back then. Right. So he had a little one done and inserted into the holiday special. Now, of course, it's going to be the new Mandalorian is the Boba Fett series that's starting on Disney Plus at the end of December. So Boba Fett. Boba Fett it's kind of like saying, the Manson family was awful, but Boba Fett came out of that. And they killed people, but Boba Fett. So it's kind of like, we feel like we gave birth to something that will last other than this. But when I look at it, I think, it's no good, but it's also it was no worse than a lot of other lousy shows that we were all involved in. It was a certain genre that happened, and truly, had we known what was where it was going to live in sort of arcane pop culture history. We probably wouldn't have done it the way we did it.
But at the and I think you said it too, is that it wasn't the cultural phenomenon then than it was now. So you could, I mean, essentially get away with putting Star Wars on the small screen and you know, being okay with it, and like you said, George, sort of cashing his check and saying, okay, I'm I'm taking it and running with it.
Part of the essential problem was that Star Wars was a great big movie that people went to see in 70 millimeter, and you know, it was exciting and all that.
Oh yeah.
And we look at the CGI now; it seems so primitive compared to the later films. But to try and do that on a television show, I mean, the sets all look so cheesy compared to what they had been in the movie.
Oh, dude,
I mean, it was, you know, I mean, there was no way we could duplicate any of that. Plus, you know, with the idea that there was
and I'm sure they didn't give you that great of a budget for it either.
It had, as these things go, it had a pretty good budget. I have to say.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It was shot. It wasn't shot like a movie. We had a director who was shooting it like a movie, and he was fired. And then we had a variety show director who came in. This was a disciple of George's, the first director, who's a very talented, terrific guy, but it did have a bit higher production values than the usual show, but not that much.
Right?
Yeah. No. Okay. So, shoot. I need to make notes while I do this. Okay, so we've tapped into your television, right? What were some of the other television shows and stuff that you've worked with? I mean, like I said, we had. I mean, there was just so much stuff that you've been involved with. So.
Well, I'm actually writing a book now about how I wrote the worst TV shows in history and lived. And so, of course, Star Wars was in there. Bit by bit, day by day.
Crown jewel.
And the Brady Bunch Variety Hour, which I think you mentioned, and the Paul Lynde Halloween special, which is
my God, I remember
classic.
You did that?
Thanks to the internet, every year it surfaces again, and people carry on about it, and because it is truly surreal. But again, it was another one that was done a lot under the influence.
Yeah. Well, and again, that was kind of the times, you know, and then it evolved into the 80s, which really
there were a lot of weird shows. But I did all the most of the Donnie Marie shows I did. I mean, I did a whole bunch of variety, and you know, I won a bunch of Emmys. The Barry Manilow special, the Bette Midler special, and Lily Tomlin show, Shirley MacLaine. A lot of different things. I mean, and the show that brought me out there, Manhattan Transfer, was a terrific show. It was a Cher's Summer Replacement. But, I mean, they used to do those because you couldn't rerun variety shows because nobody watched them the second time. That's partially because it was an event. You know, like if you watch the Burnett show and she had a guest, you know, and Maggie Smith was a guest. The only time you were going to see this was on the Carol Burnett show.
Right.
Then cable came along, and if you wanted to see Madonna, she was on every hour on the hour on MTV and on HBO, and she was unfiltered, and so it was that element went away. Way before cable, because once an event was there, I mean, nobody watched it the second time. So they would replace it with variety shows on a smaller budget. And if one of them took off, then they would program it, like Tony Orlando and Dawn was a break. It went on the schedule. The Transfer, not so much.
Well, but I mean, the Manhattan Transfer, that was a real niche kind of audience, I think.
Oh
too,
yeah,
you know?
it was
a
bold experiment.
Great. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so. I mean,
well, it was for young people singing old music
and stuff. My sister was an actress. My mom was singing. She was in Sweet Adelines, and I was part of the kids choir and stuff. Me and my sisters. So yeah, oh my God, we had all the musicals album that they were playing. We had cabaret and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we were always involved in that in some way. So it was really interesting to when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is so cool, because it was kind of hip,
Oh, it
especially
was
for the
very. I mean, there
70s.
was there was a nostalgia boom in the 70s. There were two
Right.
things happening. It was the singer-songwriters, Carole King, Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, James Taylor,
Oh yeah.
Todd Rundgren, and there were the nostalgia people like Bet, the Pointer Sisters, the Transfer. There was a whole, and even people like people would sample old songs.
Right.
Carly
Oh,
Simon,
yeah.
who was a huge artist, did an album of torch songs. So
Mhm.
it was old. And that went on for a while. I mean, I worked on an act with Pat Benatar, who was a great rock singer, and her
Oh
husband,
yeah.
great rock guitarist. And we put together, she's an album of old songs, of
Yeah.
old
No. Yeah.
torch album,
Yeah.
because she wanted to show that side of herself. And we put a show together just, that was earmarked for that audience. And
Oh
then, of course,
wow.
afterwards, she'd come out and sing "Love Is a Battlefield" or something like that,
Right. Yeah.
and they would kind of go, "What is that? Cold
Yeah.
War?
Wait, what the hell just happened here? We just went
Is that
from
like
this
World War
to
II or something? What is that?"
now I'm banging my head and that.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm so confused. Yeah, and then she breaks into "Sweet Child of Mine" and
Yeah,
doing
Right.
and no, sorry. Okay. All right. So I wanted to touch back into your Broadway stuff. Now you helped write for where's my notes? Clams on the Half Shell.
yeah. That was one of Bet's big Broadway shows. Yeah,
Yeah. Now and again, I love the way you were talking about how in Broadway, uh every night I mean, it's kind of like how I felt when I was in radio. I love radio so much, and I loved being on the air every day because and I could be hungover, sick as a dog, but I'd still go in and I'd be like this, I'd be going over my notes, and then as soon as it was time to talk, it's, hey, all right, and then as soon as I was up, Mike goes on.
right.
And I'm sure it's the exact same. It's like an adrenaline pump,
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
in there and you get in that swing. And I mean, now, but with Broadway, man, that is like, I mean, again, I guess it's very similar to radio because you're like every night and there's no real break. I mean, you get what, 1 or 2 days off, right?
Yeah, generally one. You just got a day off, right?
And so now as you're writing and stuff, how how involved did you stay with the show? I mean, were you constantly rewriting stuff every now and then, or to keep it
With
topical?
Clams on the Half Show. Yeah, there was always one of the things that Bet always had was contemporary stuff, topical stuff. And so as stuff would present itself, I was living in Chicago then, and I would fly in on the weekend, and we would massage some topical stuff in. And because she hated to be locked in at that point in her career into doing the same show every night. So
Right.
although it was a big Broadway show and you couldn't really change anything, we had built in moments where she could go off script, and so it would be fresh to her.
Okay.
And then, I mean, obviously now you can't do that when in Hello Dolly, but I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it would add a moment or something. But we did a very funny thing when she closed after a year and a half in Hello Dolly. They did a film backstage of her going up to the Dolly number. The Dolly number is at the top of a staircase, and she comes down, and the waiters are all singing to her. So
Right.
of course, she has to get up the staircase backstage to get
Right.
into position. And it's like it was the last show of the week, and it's like the big number. And so here she is crawling up the stairs, exhausted. The dresser's pushing her from behind, and she gets up top, and the light goes on. It's
Oh!
she's on, and it's a metaphor for exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's right, totally it's a crockett and Zabrach, and then the light goes on, and suddenly, and there used to be there was a great comic named Henny Youngman who was king of the
yeah.
one-liners was his
Yeah.
book. and they would say, I remember him being interviewed. They said, "Is it tough for you to get into the mood to go and do these jokes?" He said, "What are you kidding? I open the refrigerator door, the light goes on, I do 20 minutes."
Oh yes, it's perfect, Henny Youngman. Oh my God. So okay, okay, because I'm just fascinated with the writing aspect of this and the way you developed it on the Clams in the Half Shell, using those bits. And okay, you talked about how you figured out a way to incorporate that. I thought that was so cool. Just to kind of take it was part of the show, but it was like a little break in the show in a way,
Right.
And I thought that was so creative how you all did that. Now, was that kind of your idea, or was that Bet's, or was that a
It
collaboration?
evolved. It evolved. When I first started writing for her in Chicago, I gave her a lot of local jokes, and we kept updating it during the 2 weeks that she was there, and it became a thing. And I was the TV critic for the Tribune, and I would call the other TV critics, because we had junkets several times a year where I'd meet everybody. And I would call the guy who wrote for the Cincinnati Enquirer and say, who can we make fun of in Cincinnati? Because and so he'd give me the lowdown, and I'd write something. And so she would show up, and she would learn it, and she would come out, and the last thing they were expecting was that she knew who they were.
Right.
And she had a commonality with all the people who screwed up, and the mayor and whoever.
Oh, yeah, she personalized it.
So she personalized it for each town. It became a hallmark of what she did. And so by the time we got to Clams, we knew we had to do that somehow, but we were on Broadway, and something would have to kind of fall into our lap for her to comment on. But it had become part of her thing. And as she got older, she had less and less interest in learning new stuff every night. So I would create blocks, and I'd say, okay, this is where you can do this joke, and we can do that joke. And she said, no more, I can't learn anything new. And she didn't want to
start doing regional
teleprompter, and didn't, she would didn't want to freak herself out. That's why I think she actually loves doing the shows like Hello, Dolly. And she did this monologue about Sue Mengers called "I Will Eat You Last," because it's the script, and she can stick to the script and just play it at night.
Right, and it's
she's gone full circle from what she was when she started out.
Yeah,
right. Hey, but even some of the best shows.
I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah, well, some of the best shows though are those sort of topical, sort of fun.
Yeah.
Like growing up in San Francisco, Beach Blanket Babylon was one of my favorite things to go to. It was never the same show twice.
And stuff.
Oh well, yeah,
I have to say, and I did Hairspray. There's a duet that she does with the husband called "Timeless to Me," and I was heavier when I started it. I lost weight doing the show, but we put in a thing before the end of the number where we'd stop, and he would grab my boobs, and I could say something, and it was actually to give me a moment to breathe. We've been dancing, and of course, if the line worked, it brought the house down, and then we would continue the thing, and so it became a thing. And I did it just as I had done it with Bet. I did it in every town that we went to. And on Broadway is whatever was in the news. That was where I would throw in the line, and it was scream, and then we continue. We go back in the show.
That's oh my gosh, that's so
great.
Awesome. I love the the very it's so creative, and it was a natural. I mean, you throw these things in, but it was so natural for it to be there. That's the way I love the way you wrote it all together and stuff. It was awesome, and it really I think it opened the door for a lot of people's way of thinking of how to make things very more relatable to your audience in a way. It took that, I guess, fourth wall down or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean.
If it's the right vehicle, you have to be.
Yeah,
you can't do it during Death of a Salesman.
No,
right.
No.
Yeah.
I tell you where it started. Where I remember I saw Zero Mostel in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
And the night I was there, Jackie Kennedy was in the audience.
Boy.
And the Kennedys were the administration was in Washington, the Kennedys, and Zero had a moment where very excited, where he says to two different people, he says, "Go back where you came from. You to the hills. You to the sea. You to the White House." And it brought the house down. Came out of just came out of nowhere. It was brilliant, and I thought, well,
my gosh.
that's something to remember. And I think it has informed all of my work.
Yeah, it's.
But then I identify with all the fat guys, Zero and Jackie Gleason, and I loved all the fat guys. They were because, and Nathan Lane.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you've got so much history there. Now, and I'm working on your writing here because I'm trying to have a flow in a way. The Divine Madness. Okay.
That's my hip hop name, by the way. Heavy Flow Days.
Now, writing for the film or concert, however you'd like, that's just basically her show. Was Divine Madness, and you guys
movie, it was we filmed the concert.
Right,
but it took us 3 days to film the concert because of technology in 1980. Now you can do it all in one day.
Yeah,
we had to cover the audience and have no audience and put dolly tracks in so we could get some of those shots, which now you would get with a Steadicam or a drone.
Drone, yeah, exactly. And you, good Lord. The other thing I was working into is how many damn awards have you won? You've got to have like.
Well, it's about. I mean, I say 6 Emmys because I have 2 that I won for 2 Billy Crystal Oscar shows, and they're here, and then I have 4 others that I was on the production team, and the show won. So I just say multiple Emmys, and I've lost multiple Emmys too. So.
But nominated for so many.
Nominated for a lot, for a lot. But, I mean that's an honor. Nominated for way more, like with 30. Yeah. I mean, but that's the nature of television.
Yeah, but I mean, that's got to be still an honor to be nominated for those. I mean, either way,
Right.
And we know,
But how does it feel to actually win, though? Like, how does it feel for someone to recognize that?
It's fabulous, and I have to say that for somebody who grew up watching these things on television, and I was probably the first generation of that. You're also aware that you won this award and all. You're getting this from your peers and whatever, but you're also aware that you're on a television show and it's being watched and by a lot of people who and it's a big deal. And it's kind of like you're in your own movie,
right?
It's like it's an out of body experience. So you're lucky if you can think of anything to say at that point because you just. And also, you just kind of can't believe they actually validated you that much. Or maybe that's me. I don't know. Maybe other people have a problem.
But now here's the other thing: is you actually write for those shows.
I know that's what's so bizarre. So I had a chance to observe it a lot from all sides.
I mean, did it become kind of awkward where you're like, okay, I'm sitting in the audience and
the awkward one.
Hey.
The second time I won, I was writing the show. I was writing the Emmy show. And I was in the wings with Kirstie Alley, who was co-hosting it with Dennis Miller and Tim Allen. And I was standing with Kirstie, and then my category came. And we didn't think we won the year before for the Jack Palance Oscar thing. And we didn't think we would win again. And we did. I was kind of stunned. And I was just kind of standing there thinking, and Billy was there. He had not been there the previous year. So I knew he was going to give a speech of anybody.
Right.
And so I was just kind of sitting there kind of gobsmacked. And Kirstie Alley said, "Dude, you won. Get out there." And so I went, and I was wearing the credential, the lavalier, and I took it off because I thought this looked so cheesy, like I'm the help. Like a trophy queen.
I was gonna say, you just kind of.
I just had to stand there, and Billy made a very funny speech, and that was that. So that was surreal. The first time, we were really surprised that we won, and I was there with well, I had lost Emmys before, and so I'd taken my mother, and she said, "I don't want to go again and watch you lose." So I took one of the Harlettes, Charlotte Crosby, Charlotte, who I was later in Hairspray with, and she was my date, and it was fabulous, actually. It was, and I got to do a joke. We all got to do the acceptance speech, all the writers, and nobody was going to cut us off because they knew all of us.
I was going to say,
So
you got a little control there.
I was the last one, and I just got them to say, I'm very sorry I didn't have to sleep around to get this. And it was a big laugh, and then I went off stage, and the director said on the PA, said, "Thanks for giving me the joke. Thanks for giving me the out," because we went to commercial on a laugh, which is something you always like to do.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. No, it's like hitting the post when you're in radio or something. It's just boom, and
Exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so your awards. I mean, my God, and yeah, you were the head writer for the Oscars, 2000 through 2014.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's a title that we juggled, so it's I'm never even sure what those dates are. But if that's what they say they are, I go for it.
You're like, yeah,
fine with me. It doesn't matter. You don't get an extra penny. It's just
right.
It's never a money gig. The Oscars.
Now, and now you mentioned that you're writing a book, and so I need to know more about this.
Well, I've told you basically what there is. I mean, it's about how I survived doing these kinds of writing this kind of television, and it'll be a way into everything else, because I despaired of writing a book like everybody else would, and then I did, and then I did, and then I wrote. So I thought, okay, I found a way in. I can't believe I actually,
I think you actually created a way in. I think you actually said, okay, this is how I'm doing it. Damn it. Mm-hmm. Now, and I'm going to allude back to the old Hollywood Squares, because I grew up watching the Hollywood Squares. I became fascinated by that show. I just thought it was amazing how all those people in there, and they always made people laugh. I mean, I'm talking from back when I was a young kid into the Tom Bergeron years. I loved it. In fact, that was the first time I learned that I could actually make people laugh, because I started impersonating Paul Lynde. And it made my dad laugh. And that was
you do a lot of impersonations. It's just, in the warm up before we went on, I heard Homer Simpson, I heard Pee Wee Herman, I heard
yeah, there's quite a few little voices up inside my
voices in your head.
Yes. But I mean, it was one of those things, and I was like, oh, I just made my dad laugh, and he was like, did you really just do that? And he'd have me do it again. So then that became our thing. My dad was always very busy. My dad, he left the house at 6 a.m. When he came home, it was like everybody went to their rooms. It was just one of those things. We lived in fear of my father. And but that was our thing on Sundays. We would sit there and watch the Hollywood Squares, and I'd do my little Paul Lynde thing. And I'll just never forget his face. It was just amazing. And then he laughed, and I was like, "Go, I'm in, his son. Yes, I did that. I screwed up everything else.
Takes so little."
Yes, well, I'm easy to be amused with too. It's little shiny things, and but so how did you actually you just became involved with that through Whoopi being on there, or how did that whole thing evolve?
Well, as I mentioned, I don't think you've been paying attention to me, young man.
Yes, I have.
I mentioned how I got the job. I told the story that after 20 years of writing this thing, they came to me and they asked me to be the head writer.
Right. Okay.
And I said, yeah, that would be a great gig, because I'd written for so many of these people over the years. And then they got Whoopi as the square, and they tested me to be the host. Remember that? We were talking mere moments ago about all this stuff.
Okay, but
that was
what I was talking
half
about
an hour
was,
ago, Chris.
like,
come on.
how did you even get into writing for that show? Is what I meant. How did you evolve into getting on that show? I mean, was that just something you tried out for?
Am I missing something here? Didn't I answer this twice already, counselor? I mean,
I guess so.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I mean, I'd written for Comic Relief. I'd written for a whole bunch of these things, and so
Right.
they asked me to be the head writer.
So they just asked you to be the head writer. I mean, here you go, boom.
Yeah.
And okay. Okay. I thought maybe there was more of a backstory to it. I'm sorry. I was just trying to. I'm just curious. And I apologize. I didn't mean to.
No apologies necessary. I'm just a little concerned. That's all.
I have mentioned I had a very crazy past. Maybe.
I think we may be having a Star Wars office moment here.
Yeah,
Well,
this is natural. Well, if Star Wars Holiday Special comes up again, then we're gonna have some. We're gonna make sure that
may
Chris,
be copious cocaine abuse.
there
right.
was a lot of that. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that Chris took
your
his medication
70s
today
Christmas
if that happens.
Star Wars. Yeah, that was my 80s life into the 90s, almost 2000s. So, yeah. I'm only 14 and a half years sober, so there's still a lot of making up coming along.
Well, experience, strength, and hope. Here I am.
But okay, so and I'm not trying to repeat myself, but I just love the Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
And so how fun was it to do that, or was it more just a labor of love? Was it just?
It was great fun. First of all, we shot 36 days a year,
right?
Because we do a week and a day. So we would do 2 weekends a month. We would shoot Saturday and Sunday, and because we produced 36 weeks of originals, and they would show 12 weeks of reruns, generally for the summer. And so the actual production was easy because it was all concentrated in those 2 days. The writing was full time, and it was because we had people. We had a team that did questions, and then we had a team that did jokes. And so, and we had to mix and match with the people. Everybody knew what their questions were going to be. Nobody ever knew the answers, but they knew what the questions were going to be. And so we could give them jokes, or we give them bluffs, which sounded like they could be the right answer but weren't. And so it was time consuming, but it was great fun because you were always kind of going for the laugh. And then when you got together with the people on the show, like 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and everybody staggered in to do it. It was this great group of people who were having fun with each other. The idea was to have a party, and so we would shoot 3 shows and then have lunch, and there'd be wine. And so the fourth and fifth shows were much looser, and they aired Thursdays and Fridays. So the audience, it turns out, marketing people told us was looser, so the shows could be loosey goosey. And when you had 9 people up there,
right?
If one person started making trouble, there were 8 other people up there going, "Girl, get a grip." Roseanne, with one of her 43 personalities, would show up. I'd say, "Tell 32 to shut up. Bring in 61," and she would come back. Or any of them, because we had Pam Anderson after she'd had, I think, implants removed. And so she was on a lot of pain medication.
Oh, good.
And Anna Nicole Smith, who was hardly there. I mean,
I was going to say that was
lovely, but kind of not out of it. We had a lot of fun, and it was fun, coaching people. Little Richard came in the morning and said, I sat down with him to go over his questions. He said, "I don't know nothing. Don't ask me nothing." I said, "Well, Richard, this is how the game goes. They ask you a question, you have to answer. I don't know nothing." I said, "Well, we'll give you something that you can say instead of nothing." So, but
we're going to work with you, Little Richard. Promise.
Every time they call on you, start with that. I don't know nothing. And then anything you say after that, you funny. And it worked for him. And
I was going to say,
he wanted to come back. This was great. He said, "I've never gotten laughs like this when I'm on stage."
Oh my God! Now, did you have any ego clashing at all? I mean, there was a couple times where I felt like there was some tension.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
that may have been again. Just I had a very lucid past. I'm trying. There was some times, and I think maybe it was the older show where there was I'd be like, "Oh, that's a little awkward,"
Well, the older, I was around at the end of the older show because the show started in '67.
Right.
And it ran 14 years. And at the end, Paul was the center square. He had not been on the show originally.
Mhm.
And Ernest Borgnine was the first center square. And because he's a laugh, right? Well, he actually was a funny guy. But so I would write for Paul because I was writing Donnie and Marie, and Paul was a regular on Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
And he would leave Donnie and Marie. They used to shoot squares in the evenings then. And he would leave and he would grab me and he would say, "Come with me to squares. I haven't got shit." And we'd write jokes in the car on the way over. Substitute them for whatever they had occasionally.
Oh my God.
But then of course I wound up, being him. And if he knew that 40 years later we were talking about him, he would scream with laughter because he was bitterly unhappy because he thought he was like a footnote. And
he was just so great, and
he was brilliant. He was a flavor, and he would come on. He would do a joke, hilarious, and then go away. That's why he played the sidekick in movies. He never carried a show as the center, and even his television specials, he was surrounded by other people because he had to be administered in small doses. Funnily enough, he would go out on the road and do summer stock and do plays, but he was in character in the plays.
Yeah,
and they would be, and so it would work. But I think he was afraid to take it any further, and he was making so much money in television then.
Yeah,
but that didn't make him happy. Because he saw the people he came up with in New York in the 50s, Mel Brooks and Woody Allen, becoming huge movie stars. And that's what he wanted. But I kept telling him, Paul, you don't write. You write a joke. You don't write your own stuff the way Mel and Woody do.
Right.
And that's the difference. You have to create it for yourself. And he was, I know that he was unwilling. I just don't think he had the skill set in his head to do that.
Right.
Because he was very bright, but I just don't think his mind worked that way.
Yeah. I mean, I admired the fact. I mean, you knew a lot of that stuff was just right off the top of his head. Nothing with him seemed to be scripted, and he was just so genius. And the way he would play, I mean, even playing the audience, and you just see how he would work them, and it was just such genius. I used to love watching the reruns just over and over because it was an amazing skill to watch him and how he did it. And then you, like you said, you really just stepped in and filled his role, and you did
more or less.
Awesome.
I mean, there always was. Wayland and Madam in the '80s iteration with John Davidson, Wayland and Madam, and Jay Bullock were the kind of Paul Lynde of that iteration.
Oh yeah.
That would be the one in our iteration.
Right. But
so I get the gay component, but they all have
but I just think, I mean, especially and J.M. Bullock was very similar in his humor style in a way, but like you really just stepped in and kind of just, I mean, you took it into a whole different level, and I loved the way.
I wasn't hiding; I was real, and that would be the note I would get. You're too explicit.
Like, okay,
I mean,
really back in a little bit.
I used a lot of double entendre, just like Paul did. But Paul was that old school thing that made Liberace a star, where everybody knew that this was a screaming queen, and that was part of it. Was if you were tuned in to him, you saw how funny it was, and if you weren't, it just went over your head to be anyway.
Right.
I mean, you just if you didn't think about Liberace's sexuality, you just go, this flamboyant personality plays piano great and wears diamonds and shit.
Right. Well, you look past it. You look at what the whole purpose is, and you that's what you, I mean, truly love is the man's performance and the way he did it.
Right.
I mean, the way he used a lot of different hand. Well, he made it very extra when he was playing the piano, but he played the piano amazingly. I mean, good God.
It's great piano.
it's and then the same thing with Paul Lynde and the way his humor was. It was, and I'll never forget my mom, or no, not my mom, my grandma said something back in the day about him. He was a confirmed bachelor, and I was like,
Oh yeah, well that was the expression, confirmed bachelor.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Confirmed.
okay, cool.
I love
I
that.
want to be a confirmed bachelor. I'm just going to be, banging chicks, and
I am
I'm never
telling
going
you,
to get
I'm not.
married.
I'm a,
Then I found out that later on that meant something different. I was like, oh, okay, well, I still want to be a
yeah.
bachelor in a way, but and so it didn't quite work for my sister. Yeah, it did, but so there you go. Well, she's a confirmed bachelorette. Yes. I guess that would be my grandma's way of saying it.
Right.
But
As
she
opposed
has
to an old maid
yeah,
or
right.
spinster.
But
They have
she's
more
got a
words for them.
great
Yeah.
marriage, great kid. And you've done a lot of charity work. Let's bring this up for the AIDS charities, the gay community. Now, good Lord, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling back through some of your stuff here. Like I said, we had
I should scroll
no,
through it and
we
amuse
just
myself.
uh you just done it so much amazing work, man. It's just so great. And now you are coming up. I mean, the book, right? And then
Yeah,
um
that won't be for a while. So
and
don't
then
race out to what's left of Barnes and Noble.
but you were teasing about March.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be. I do an evening where I tell stories and carry on and sing some old songs and stuff. And I'll be doing it in Fort Lauderdale, where the boys are. March at the Favorite Theater, which is a new place.
Well, and it'll be nice down there too. So
But yeah, it'll be the end of the tail end of the season, and I'll be
yes,
there
I was going to
for
say
the
you're going
tail.
to be just missing hurricane season. So things will be all cleaned out by the time you get there.
Yeah.
Now it's moved to Iowa hurricane season.
Right.
Now there's hurricanes, hurricane force winds in Kentucky. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
and 70 degrees in December. What?
Well, that's what. Yeah, that was yesterday. 71 degrees. I was wearing thermals when I went to work. By the time I left work at 2 p.m, I was drenched in sweat almost because I was so warmly
Yeah,
dressed, and and then of course, the winds kicked in, and then nighttime fell, and it was back to 30 degrees. So go figure.
kind of like LA, actually.
Right. Yeah.
But in winter here, it can go up into the 70s, and then it'll go down to maybe 50, 45.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
No,
it feels so different,
yeah. It's like being up in San Francisco. You
Yeah.
actually
I could
get,
never dress right in San Francisco. Like no matter what the weather said, and living in the East Bay and then commuting to San Francisco, like nothing
microclimate.
ever. Yeah.
And as they say, summer is in October in San Francisco. October's not.
Right.
We did Hairspray. I was there for 3 months doing Hairspray, and it was over the summer, and it was freezing the whole time. Freezing.
Yeah.
that fog rolls in and you're done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. So all right. So now you're Fort Lauderdale out in March, and now how long will you be out there?
I'm just doing one night. I may
awesome.
hang out. Just
Ooh.
March 12th, one night. I just will hang out, but I haven't booked much because COVID, everything shut down, and I've slowly been putting my toe back in. A date here, a date there. It's kind of something I do for fun, and so
Right.
well, hopefully I'll come up with but it involves coming up with new material. That's always like, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I gotta work.
And
What has been your well,
Yeah. Your favorite.
out of
what
all
was your
the
favorite
things you've done?
project?
Yeah, what was your favorite project? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, between Hairspray and Squares and 25 Oscar shows and Tonys and the EGOT of writing those things, Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, Tonys, and being on the ground floor with Bette Midler, which is not really what it sounds like. Uh, all of them, they're great. I mean, those are kind of the highlights. I mean, I wouldn't count Wayne Newton at SeaWorld as one of them, but
Oh, come on, that was
but
gold.
I think we covered all that ground, the good ground.
Right. Yeah. Well, watching the dolphins do backflips, there's some kind of fun in there somehow.
Wayne,
No,
me
actually, it's
too.
pretty boring. So let's move on. Okay. Uh, Besides your march, what all do you got? I mean, you're just kind of chilling out at this point, just enjoying the writing. I mean, what
No,
does Bruce do for fun?
I'm writing something. I'm involved in a project with Dolly Parton. That's all I can tell you about it.
Right.
And I'm going to New York in January. We're going to do a little workshop of it to see how we like it. And it may show up on stages next fall. So, I mean, I'm always, the thing about writing, a writer is you're always working all through COVID.
Yeah.
I was writing and I just wasn't carrying on about it because I was getting paid and and Zooming. And as long as I didn't stand up and do a Jeffrey Toobin, I was okay.
Yeah.
So people who live off live performance were, shit out of luck. And I was lucky, but I didn't gloat about it. So now that's kind of coming back. So it just never stopped. And the nice thing about being a writer, and you can create your own stuff
Absolutely.
and rock on.
Okay. So now what is like it's your off day. What are you just going to be doing just to enjoy hanging out?
Well, I started going back to the movies and the theater, such as it is, although they keep canceling because they'll test somebody and they have to show. But and go and seeing people and eating and dining and getting laid and all the things.
That's always a bonus after dinner.
One does when one is a youthful sprite such as myself.
Well, I mean, I
don't have any hobbies. I mean, I would love to tell you. Yeah, well, I'm slaloming now. It's that.
Just got done climbing the Empire State Building. Pretended I was a big monkey, and then
that's right.
Down.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listen,
It's been grand, but I think now pineapple.
I knew it. Well, we have a couple.
We determined that was a safe word for those of you who are still with us.
Yeah.
It's time to go. It's been an hour and a half. It's time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Bruce, I thank you so much for being on the show here, man. And dude, it's just such an absolute pleasure. I thank you so much. We will make sure people get to know that you are out there in March in Fort Lauderdale for a one-day show. You have a book coming out that you're working on that we hope to hear from you about.
I will come back.
Yes, awesome.
Come back and plug away.
Yes. Beautiful.
Madman.
Yes, I love the plug-in. All right, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
And
thanks.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
You have a great day, sir. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was awesome, dude. Oh my God, I can't believe it. He is
really
so
incredible.
Freaking funny.
Yeah.
Just so sharp-witted and just boom, 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 rolling. Matthew.
Yeah. Hey,
Matt,
no, I just
the center of excitement and wit.
Sitting here and I knew I had a feeling he was starting to wane.
Yeah.
And I should have about 5 minutes ago gone ask him about the sandwich.
Yeah,
but Chris kept wanting to talk about Hollywood Squares. And again, Hollywood Squares.
What? We're all locked up.
Everybody's
on my end.
5x5 over here, Chief.
Yeah, bro.
Well, it's all froze up on my end, so what are you going to do?
All right. Well, now it's the Andy and Matt show, everybody. All right, here we go.
Anyway, so my cats.
Oh, shit. No.
No.
Yeah, no, I know. I just, dude, I so love the Hollywood Squares, like I said. So I just wanted to learn a little more, but I guess he was just asked. I just thought, there was something a little more to it, but I was wrong. So
And that's okay.
yeah,
That's okay. You swung and you missed. That's all right.
swung a couple times and missed apparently. But anyway.
It's always great to hear those stories, just how, like you're just in the right place at the right time, and Bette Midler sees you, right, and says, hey, write it, and that's it. It's that simple. Like he didn't submit his work to anybody, and he didn't like put it out there, and just that stuff. It's just incredible to really just see. I mean, not how easy it was, but it's just really interesting,
right?
That it was that easy and that quick.
I thought it was, I mean, and all the different things he's been involved in. I don't know. I was trying to dig for more, but I could tell he was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's something I did, whatever.
Yeah,
and
well, and again, you don't, and a lot of that stuff too, like you don't think about people needing to write for, like Academy Awards, Oscar Awards, like sure, there's writing beneath it, and people are contributing, but like you don't necessarily put two and two together that people are sort of behind the scenes, like necessarily telling them what to say. So just to meet that person, and to be able to write for all of those sort of big personalities on a night like that, it's something special, and not everybody do it.
It's pretty amazing.
No, absolutely true. I don't know. Like I said, there was so many things I wanted to dig into more, but I could tell he was just, it was like, okay, this is what I did, and that's cool, and we're cool.
Well, he said he was good for an hour, and he was
he stayed longer.
Very generous for this time.
That was awesome.
And I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted because my internet's locked up, and I'm trying to pull some things up for us that it's not working.
I was having similar issues during the show.
Were you?
And oddly enough, my internet worked fine the entire time.
Yeah, imagine
and
that.
Never happens.
Jinxed us.
Yeah,
it never happens.
Although the battery in my camera is about to die, but
hey, that always happens.
And my cat just came in. Oh, it's getting exciting.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
Wow.
And that's
jump down.
the
I know
show.
you want to jump down.
Do what?
No, she's starting to jump on my desk from the cat tree over here, and of course when I say come here, she's not going to do it. So what's the trick?
Yeah.
The trick is I'm going to get your little
and her thing
claws.
is she's a cat, so she's like, what am I getting out of this?
Exactly.
And
come on,
as she knows, not much.
You can be on camera. She's like, you're to take enough weird pictures of me, buddies.
Well,
your mom says, hey, how are my kittens doing? And I go, this is what your cat's doing right now, being a little jerk. Like I should take a picture of her right now.
Okay.
And thank you for coming to Cat Talk. I have been.
We're going total NPR. Okay.
All right.
And there's a cat. Look at that.
Well, I'm sure that Patsy wants to know what I'm doing for dinner tonight.
Oh, probably.
So I could talk about that.
Maybe. Yeah.
But, you know what? I'm having spaghetti.
Oh, yum.
Oh, but just not any spaghetti, buddy. No, it's going to be a special noodle spaghetti and
Ready Eddie spaghetti.
A delicious.
Isn't all spaghetti noodle spaghetti?
Well, no, it's what are they? They're not rice noodles.
Bow tie pasta? Are you having bow tie pasta tonight?
Lentil bean noodles, which are actually very delicious.
Okay.
I was a little taken aback. I was like, lentil bean, really? Man, not feeling the lentil thing. And then I had some. I was like, that's pretty damn good. Of course, my wife makes a very good sauce and seasons, and my wife's an amazing cook. So what can I say?
Yeah,
I could be also shoe, and I'd be like, wow, this is a damn good suede soled. Yeah,
Lois cooks up a mean Reebok.
Yeah, she does. I was gonna say Nike, but I hate Nike. So
Right. Yeah. No, try to
Adidas.
keep it to the lesser
Yeah.
brands. Yeah, I'm partaking in the penne tonight too. So
Yeah. Oh, there we go. And so
Deposit.
Matt, what were you going to have? I'm sorry.
Pork chops,
Oh,
leftover rice pilaf, heated
pork
up, and
Mm.
a salad with my favorite dressing of all time because my wife's awesome and bought a jar of it.
Oh,
Bob's
what's
Big
that?
Boy
Ooh.
Roquefort dressing.
Nice.
Oh, Roquefort? No.
Oh yeah, I love Roquefort.
Oh, you ruined it.
Their blue cheese is good too, and that's the tartar sauce we had on our fish tacos was Bob's Big Boy tartar sauce.
Ooh.
Oh, see, now there's bonus.
Yum babies.
So I figured out why my computer keeps locking up on my end because I'm trying to find things on my computer for the show, and so that's why it's happening.
So you're not prepared?
When I get
Dun.
things last minute, I'm not absolutely prepared. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh well.
Oh, was that the thing that I sent you last minute? Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner.
Maybe it was
Chicken dinner. All right. Well, hey, blame me. Blame the
I
new
was
kid.
trying
I don't
not
mind.
to be a total ass.
It's okay. You
but-
can blame me. I'll take it. No, I as the last one hired, I have no problem taking the blame for stuff that goes wrong.
Damn it, Andy. I swear.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I know. You little damn punk kids coming into our show and screwing things up.
Look, if you want to be the co-host on this from here on out, you're really going to need to get stuff to us 1 minute sooner, so Chris
Okay, I
doesn't
really-
look like such an idiot.
I'm so
Well,
sorry. I'm gonna
especially
pull my
me
crap
with
together, guys.
my technical genius of huh? What? How'd that work? Yeah. No, it's I'm a horrible person. I'm not gonna lie, and that's why I just truly
Technologically
suck at this.
impaired. Technologically impaired. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what kind of a person you are.
Mm.
My father's a wonderful person, but just don't send him a PDF. It's because it's never gonna open.
Yeah, I get lost with those. What are you doing, Matthew?
Sounds like he's pressure.
Oh, you can hear that, huh?
He's pressure blowing his desk.
The back of this little laptop is all dusty, and I was wiping it.
So this is the perfect time to clean it right at the end of a show.
Well, I mean, you brought me on and turned off the phone, so I'm no longer in your little ear. I'm in your big ears.
Well,
And that's the big microphone.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, so
since
anyway.
since
So
we're
are
doing
we
that,
gonna
I guess
do,
I'm gonna clean mine as well.
Do it, Andy. Go for
I'm
it,
gonna
man.
chew my fingernail. It's the multitasking portion of the show on the Random Christian Show. Matt and Andy are blowing things, and I'm chewing my fingernails. We're keeping a great manicure and dust free. Oh, good God! Now Matt's blowing the microphone, and there's some people out there going, "Ooh, Matt's blowing things. What's up?" Okay, we're going into the Random Christian Show after dark, and we're not gonna go much.
Are we going to
further than that.
do news stories?
Would you like to do some news stories? Because
was your wife going to join us in doing that, or is
she's not prepared
she's
for that.
busy
She's
making
actually probably doing
spaghetti?
some work right now.
Well,
Doing the worky do thing,
it's probably more important anyway.
Probably, seeing that she's getting paid for that. And yeah, well, and speaking of that, we may have a new sponsor next week.
You might get paid.
And yeah, like
Some
an
real
actual
money?
paying sponsor, like our good friend Neil Getzlow with his book Unmasked. That is our sponsor of our show. That I will have an actual spot for by next week. I just have had some struggles with some things, so. Anyway, we are very proud to have Mr. Neil Getzlow. In fact, we're going to bring him back on, probably and his wife, just for a little quick talk about the book and all that. So very excited, trying to work that out with him. A good time for him to come on and do the show. Also, let's just plug this real quick right now. There it is. Next week, we're going to have author Kristen Stivall. She's a fantasy author and does some has written some great books. So we're going to be very excited to have her on next week. And it will be Tuesday of next week on the 21st at 4:00 Central Time. So make sure you join us for that. And that's the thing I had been waiting for till the last minute from Andy. That's why it took a little.
You didn't even know it was coming until I mentioned it.
No,
wait. I'm sorry. No, guys, I screwed up. I know it. I will do better next time.
You
I'm
threw
so
me
sorry.
off.
Wait a second. Now I'm learning that
adjustments.
Chris is trying to blame his screw ups on you, Andy.
Well, I
And
don't.
you
like
let
I said,
him. Oh my!
I'm jumping on the grenade. I like I said, I'm the new kid.
You got a lot to learn, kid, man.
Seriously.
He's going to screw up a lot. And you
Yeah,
can't let him blame you for his screw ups.
I'm still in the 90-day test, right? Like I can still get fired.
We're well past 90 days at this point.
Yeah,
aren't we?
I think at this point we
is that 90 days or 90
we'd have
podcasts?
to get a lawyer involved.
Oh God. We haven't even made it to 90 podcasts yet. But hey, like I said, we are in the top 20 for the week. The past few weeks, actually, we've been staying in the top 20, and we've moved up in the top 100 of all time. We are now at 49, I believe, for Good Pods, and Good Pods, loving you. Also, and all you who keep tuning in and listening to the show, thank you so much. It's so awesome and humbling to have you folks checking us out. Really appreciate it all. I'm trying to find there it is, random news. That is what I've been looking for. And I can't now. I have too many things going on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Does anybody
I'm sorry,
have any random news?
I screwed that up too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
I really am.
Jeez,
I'm so sorry.
On the...
I know. God, yeah.
It's, I know. I'm taking the blame for this one, and the fact that I've got like way too many things on my iPad to look through, and I can't find my. Oh, there it is. Drive. No, I don't want the drive.
Hey,
no, I don't want the random drive.
Anyway, so Andy, how's the weather up there in Oregon?
It's wet.
Did anybody else pull up the random news weird sheet?
No. I did, and then I turned off that little laptop, and then was rubbing on it, and you got mad at me.
Dude, you're dusting in the middle of the show.
Yeah, but my mic was muted like for so long, I kind of forgot that I was back on. I'm gonna blame you, my man.
Cat.
So, anyway, yes.
Oh, we've already made it back to anyway.
Anyway.
So how about that Hollywood Squares thing?
That was great. And yeah, I know.
No, I'm really glad he talked about the Star Wars special.
Yeah,
that was really
interesting.
Cool.
No, it was.
And like looking back, like on it, like realizing that there were so many of those variety shows on the air, like Donnie and Marie, the Brady Bunch and like that kind of thing. Sonny and Cher and everything, that it really wasn't that weird of a thing,
right?
Like when it was on, because it just fit right in with that time frame of variety shows.
No, absolutely, it made sense at the time to do a variety show as to something that ended up being as big as it did.
And I'm really glad I made my wife watch it a couple of years ago. We found it on YouTube.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. And I, tell her straight up before we started watching it, like, hey, it's dumb.
It's god awful.
It's but in a wonderful, wonderful 70s kind of way.
Right.
You just gotta just watch it. And then there's a Boba Fett cartoon, which will make it all worthwhile.
And then, yeah, and it's like, you get the flashback to your youth and all that. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool that way. Hey, guess what?
What?
Tiny living robots figured out how to reproduce. Boom, there it is. Random weird news.
That was pretty random and weird
Well,
and news.
it is
Three
just like
things.
Jurassic. It's just like the lesson we learned from Jurassic Park. Nature will find a way.
There's nothing natural about robots.
But I mean, isn't that what they kind of want?
Especially tiny living robots.
Isn't that what they're like
robot?
trying to do when they want to send out these robots out to explore, and once they hit other planets, they need to be able to reproduce themselves to do bigger and better things. I don't know. I watch some science.
Hold on. Let
stuff every once in a while.
let me just switch
the nanobots and whatnot.
here. Let me switch the
Yeah.
here for a second.
Okay.
Back to yes, we're nerds.
There we go.
All right.
No, I feel like this is dangerous because if robots can replicate, then they will take over as the dominant species of the planet.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I apologize. I just finished a video game where this was the exact storyline of the game.
Really? Oh crap.
Yeah.
okay, what system is it on? And
well, it was a game made for the PS4, but I played it
Okay.
on the PS5. This is Horizon Zero Dawn,
Okay.
where robots as animals, and the whole story is you're discovering why this happened, right? And we're gonna lose Chris here in a second. But
no, I'm getting my extra listening device out of my other ear so I can
okay.
pay full attention to your story about playing a game that was meant for another system being played on this system, which is newer and better, and that we don't really,
Anyway, that sounds fascinating, Andy.
It is. It was actually one of the best video games I've ever played. Definitely in my top 10. So,
Right
Really?
on.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so behind the times. I used to play video games. Pitfall was
still
really
do.
cool.
Yeah, a game I'm really hooked on.
I miss Defender.
Pikmin. Pikmin
Oh, yeah?
3.
Yeah, I remember.
And we
that
just
game.
downloaded the Pikmin Bloom for the phone. Pretty fun.
Oh, nice.
So did you
I
know that
plant flowers
xenobots can
everywhere.
reproduce via kinematic replication, which has never been observed before in organisms?
Ooh.
Boom! More random.
That's crazy.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna jump around. Say hello to Xenobots 3.0, the world's first self-replicating living robots. Xenobots in a petri dish collecting stem cells for kinematic replication. Screenshot YouTube, University of Vermont. How'd that sound?
It's frightening. It is frightening because the robots will take over the earth.
Okay, well, and what I don't seem to hold on. Let's read this together now, shall we? Researchers who developed what they say are the world's first living robots now report that they can reproduce in an unprecedented way, according to a peer-reviewed study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences on Monday. The robots in question aren't little constructions of silicon and metal. Instead, they are biological machines called xenobots that University of Vermont and Tufts University researchers first described last year. The xenobots are genetically unmodified, cultivated stem cell bundles of the African clawed frog. Dude, this is getting really creepy.
So wait, so these
So
are
the androids.
they naturally occurred. They weren't engineered.
It sounds like, hold on, let's finish reading here. They're called Xenopus laevis. So they've actually given it like a biological classification. Joshua Bongard, Bongard. I'll bet he's Bongarded in university.
Now
That's my bong, bro.
Right, now I get the story. All right.
Okay. Joshua, yeah, no shit. Dude, guess what I made in my petri dish? I mean, my bong. Nachos. A University of Vermont computer scientist and robotics expert referred to them in a press release last January as novel living machines that are a new class of artifact, a living programmable organism. freaking me out.
Burn them.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying reading this article.
Burn them.
I'm closing it and I'm not looking at it. It didn't happen. No. La, 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 la.
They will take us over as the dominant species.
No,
Mark
but
my
scarier
words.
that it's not metal robots. It's
It's an actual
Flesh
the
and-
xenobots are programmable in the sense that they are rudimentary behaviors are mostly predetermined by their initial shapes. As Gizmodo reporter George Dvorsky wrote last year, using an evolutionary algorithm, the researchers devised thousands of possible designs for their novel life form, with the capacity for unidirectional locomotion being a fundamental physical requirement.
no.
Who called it? Why did they call them xenobots? Because xenomorphs are the aliens from Alien. Like, why draw that parallel?
I don't know.
This
specialized cells were then grown and meticulously assembled to match the form designed by the computer.
it's the beginning of
xenobots
the
are
end.
capable of living for days to weeks
We've lost Matt. Matt's
in an
signing out.
aquatic environment using the energy stored in their cells, while their lifetimes can be extended with a nutrient-rich environment. Oh God, this is like the Matrix.
This is freaky. I don't like
Afterwards, they inevitably biodegrade.
So there's a half-life on them.
Yeah, there's a shelf life. Defining robot was never easy, although older technologies sort of obscured. Dude, okay, I'm with Matt. This is creeping me out, dude. I don't want to know. There's some
Only funny news from now on. That's
well, we were supposed to be making fun of it, but that's just too creepy to make fun of.
You brought up the eventual end of the human race by bringing
I
in
did.
self-replicating robots.
I'm
I'm sorry.
for bringing everybody down. You know what makes it better though?
no.
Is when you're listening to
You
the
found
Dead
music.
Campers Christmas music sounds while you're talking. There we go.
Turn it up a
All
little.
right, let's see if we can find a different story here. Let's see.
No, up, not down.
I'm trying to open.
The other way.
Let's see what this story has to say. Or that story. Nope. It's not working for some reason. Not sure why. That's awesome.
I'm crushing your head,
Great.
Chris. Turn up the music.
I did turn up the music. Hey, you're trying to crush my head. Why is this okay? I suck. I really do. Why?
You know what,
okay.
guys? This is on me. I'm so sorry. I totally screwed this up. I am.
It's all right.
I'll come in better prepared next time. I'm so sorry.
I don't know why it won't open the thing. It opened up.
What do you
keyboard
want?
instead?
What are you trying to do?
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
We'll walk you through it. What
You
are you
gotta
trying to
double
do,
tap.
Chris?
You got to double tap. My bad.
Called the double.
Okay, here's one for you. Burglars knocked a hole in a wall to steal Lego bricks.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, no, this is complete legit. If I had all the money back that I've spent on Legos so far, I would be a rich man.
Okay.
So I can
German
get it.
police are looking for witnesses after burglars broke through the wall of a toy store to steal dozens of Lego sets. Police said Tuesday that the theft took place over the weekend in the western town of Lippstadt. The
What
burglars
sets did
left
they
about
take?
100 empty cardboard boxes behind, so they took the Legos and left the Lego boxes.
Times are hard.
Did they take the instructions so they know what they're gonna make?
No, because if they're real Lego master builders, they don't need instructions. They use their imagination, which is what I keep telling my daughter.
But you got to
I'm-
build the thing at least once
Yeah. I
before
get
you
that.
go. Okay, that was cool.
But now I'm going to build a UFO.
Times
It
are hard,
wasn't
though.
immediately
I get
clear
it.
whether the burglars had taken the instruction. Oh, right here. It wasn't immediately clear whether the burglars had taken the instruction books. That's the
Oh,
story.
so they may have actually.
Well,
taken
but
them
you
with
can
them?
get all of those online if you know where to look.
That's the story. That's all there is to it.
I'm just
crazy.
saying, like, times are hard. I get it. Sometimes you just gotta yank.
I'm thinking these guys were just high as hell, and they're like, "Dude, we're out of Legos."
Or maybe their
I
kids
need
really
more-
wanted Legos
more
for
bricks.
Christmas.
More bricks.
Or they hate their parents and they wanted to go spread them on the floor of their parents' homes, so that way when they got up out of bed in the middle of the night to go get a glass of water, go to the bathroom, they, oh my God, holy hell! Something has just pierced my foot. It's a Lego.
That is a completely legitimate concern.
Yeah,
I think that is a very relevant evil to exact on somebody.
It is truly one of the worst pains ever, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure any adult has experienced this pain in one way or form, and I'm pretty sure a kid or two has. No, kids, when we were kids, we had like a sixth sense of where our toys were in the middle of the night, and you could like very safely peruse through your floor, even though it was like a landmine,
Right.
all over. So yeah, well, that was
Yeah.
interestingly not interesting story.
I'm having camera troubles.
Apparently.
I can see.
I put in a new battery, and normally when I do this, everything's good, but it's freaking out right now, and whatever.
Well, you know what? We're gonna roll with one more little quick story here. Why not?
All right.
Why not? I mean,
Okay.
we all got time, right?
Got to do what you got to do.
We do.
Well, we do if, well.
You know what, guys? I screwed this one up. I'm so sorry. This is my fault.
Oh, no. This is a great one. Hold on. Let's bring the music
Chris,
back
actually
on.
bump me out and then bring me back in.
I'm okay. Bye, Matt. Okay. So Andy, it's just me and you now.
Oh, hi.
All right. things get a little awkward.
Maybe.
Let's start this over again because here we go. There. That's the Dead Campers, by the way. Yeah, we're ready to rock. Come on. All right. So we're gonna bring this story back up. Roadrunner going faster ends up in Maine after hitchhike. This is off the AP News Board. Okay, this is a legit 100% real true story. And it goes like this. In Freedom, Maine, a wayward roadrunner is on the mend in Maine after traveling across the country in a moving van. Well, here I did think that maybe the Wile E. Coyote was just soon to follow with the Acme van of supplies to destroy the Roadrunner.
But if the Roadrunner sort of back to futured his way, like on the way of on the bumper, remember how Marty McFly would ride a skateboard and grab the car and just sort of ride it? You know?
Yeah.
Like if the Roadrunner did that, maybe. I don't know.
Then there's a really tired coyote somewhere hauling around an anvil.
Yes.
Waiting to drop it on this stupid Roadrunner that cheated him again.
It's just the Roadrunner always wins. It's just the Roadrunner will always win.
I always felt sorry for Wile E. Coyote.
It was bad. It was,
it's like give him one win. At least, like sprain the Roadrunner's ankle. Take him out one way or another. I don't know.
Just even a mildly inconvenience the Roadrunner, like just the smallest, tiniest win, like to have him like break a claw or something, or like scrape a claw, like just to get that one little win,
just to break his neck.
Right. Like I think that would have been like the funny, like, wait a minute, like the Coyote's like, something I did actually worked, and then like it'll all go to hell again,
Oh goodness gracious! Well, I don't know if we're ever gonna get Matt back. He's on the mend, but that's Roadrunners are in Maine now. They're gonna start breeding with the state bird. What is the state bird of Maine? The cuckoo?
That is a great question. Let's Google that and find out real quick.
Or we could just not care.
I don't even know the state bird of Oregon. Oh,
That
the
could
state bird of Maine is the black-capped chickadee.
Roadrunners and chickadees. So it'd be a rotity
Yeah.
or a chick runner.
Or a
I like
chunner.
chick runner. A chunner.
Chunner.
Yeah.
Chunner.
Chick runner. No, I like chick runner
Yeah.
better. Chick
runner.
runner. It'd be like
Yeah.
chick-a-filet. Chicka runner.
Yeah, they're good. Well, yeah, they might, like some
We've lost
some
Italy.
blended families, they might hyphenate. So, Roadrunner dash chickadee.
Runner a
Maybe.
D. Runner a D. A D runner. Now we're
No, I
pushing
think
it.
I think the chick runner works.
Yeah. Well.
Although it sounds like some greasy Italian guy, but that's okay.
Hey, we are okay. Now we really lost Italy. That's way to
Right.
go.
Oh, I'm so
way to
sorry.
seclude us. Hey,
I'm
by the
so
way, guess
sorry.
what's coming up next week? Kristian Stivall. Yep, that's right. Author extraordinaire Miss Kristian Stivall with her fantasy and science fiction novels. We're going to have her on the show next Tuesday coming up. Just throwing that back out there. Anyway, well, Matt is kind of there, but he's
Can you
not
hear me?
there.
You can
Yes,
hear
we
me.
can. We can hear
So
you.
We have you, but
bring me on.
you're still in the
but-
webcam utility.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, bring me on. I don't know what's going on with my camera right now, but I can hear you guys. I can see you guys, and you can hear me. So,
Hey, well,
Yeah,
anyway,
but it's
we're
4
just
o'clock
basically getting ready to say peace out because
yeah, that's all right.
yeah, it's about that time. So
Yeah.
just want to thank all our sponsors one more time. Let's go through the very generous and amazing Neil Getzlow and his book Unmasked. Where is that all available there, Andy?
That's all available on the randomchristianshow.com.
That's right. Our wonderful revamped website, I guess, too, because with our new logos and everything, it's going to be all hip and stylish. Which again, Andy, fantastic job, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Also, we have to say thank you so much to Squidbillies Productions. They are out there, filmography, videography. He's got his own podcast. Just tons of different stuff. He makes his own music. I mean, this guy does everything.
Yeah.
So
It was
if you
really
guys are-
cool checking them out.
If you guys are interested in anything like that, make sure to hit them up. Not Squidbillies. Oh my God, Squid's
Yeah.
killing it.
Squid's
Oh,
Killing It
good Lord.
Productions.
And Squids is with a Z, by the way, kids. So you can go to our website and check them out. There's a link there for them as well. And of course, the ever fabulous SJ Network. Thank you so much for being our representation and bringing us these fabulous guests that we get. Stephen Joyner and Aaron Bossig. If you are interested in any of that, S-J-Network, they are out there for you. And Andy, what do we got coming up on Rum and Regrets for your show this week?
Oh, so our holiday podcast is dropping tomorrow. And we actually got a sponsor too, a tiny sponsor for the next 2 shows. So
nice. Well,
Yeah.
well done, my friend.
yeah. So
All right. And Matt, what's for dinner?
Dinner tonight is pork chops.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Leftover,
Pork chops.
rice pilaf
We've already
and
been
salad.
through that. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your pork chops anymore. It's old
Yeah,
news.
no, yeah. Corn, string beans,
A
carrots.
delicious, healthy meal.
Delicious
pork and
enough.
veggies.
No, it should be really good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Been
I'm gonna go have
marinating
spaghetti.
in
And
Martinelli's sparkling
Yeah.
cider.
there you go. Andy's gonna go have bow tie pasta
no
So-
penne.
or penne. Sorry, I thought you said no.
Yeah.
You were telling me to have bow tie. I got you.
Yeah. Right.
In the meantime, again, we'll bring her up one more time. Kristian Stivall. She will be on the show next week, next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and don't forget, kids, make sure we take care of each other out there, help each other out, Be good to each other. We're all we've got besides the big guy upstairs. So be good, and we will see you next week. Peace out. Hit in stream. It's, I'm assuming, ended
No,
because
it's still
everything's
going. I
locked up.
see it still clicking. You're still live.
We're still live? This
Yeah.
is awesome. My computer's
Why
locked
isn't
up.
it? Why doesn't
Nothing's
it?
working. Did we get hit with some kind of weird alien thing happening?
Oh my god, it's the Xenobots.
Oh my god, did Restream reproduce? Is that I think Restream
It's
reproduced
reproducing our show.
and we are in the child of Restream right now.
now.
Well, all I know is I'm taking the batteries out of my camera because
Not
something's
working,
going on.
guys.
It
Hey,
doesn't
guys.
like it.
This is on me.
incredibly
I'm
awkward.
so sorry. This is my fault. I know
It's
that
all
I totally
Andy's.
screwed this up.
Andy, come on, man.
I'm so sorry.
Oh well, if we are still live, we're frozen on screen, and we're really trying to end the show because that's been the plan all
So
along.
welcome to the 24-hour random Christian show, everybody. We're entering
We're
hour
never
3 right
ending.
now.
We
I
are
just want to
constant.
go to bed.
Dude, it will not end. It's like totally locked. I'm hoping it ended, but if it hasn't,
I mean, it says on my end, I see it
You-
says live.
No, it's live.
But
We're
then it-
still live. You broke it, Chris. You
It's-
broke
it's-
it. No, wait, I broke it. It's
I was gonna say no, Andy, you broke it.
But if
It's
we
all
just
you.
all leave, would it just stop?
You would think that. I would like really hope like everything is frozen on this screen.
Oh, well.
Maybe if I just here, hold on. Let me. All right, bye, Matt. Love you.
Love you
And-
guys. See you guys later.
No, it's not doing anything on the screen at all. It's not letting me
right.
exit out at all.
Oh, there goes. Well, Matt left probably.
Did he finally check out?
It says you're still live.
It does say we're still live.
Yeah, I'm on this one.
Yeah, we
oh
are.
God.
Hi.
Hi.
There it goes. Are you sure?